Hello everybody, welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, as always, Jackson Kellogg, and today we're getting into Week 6 analysis. Jumping right into it, this is what last week's power rankings looked like for the top 10. Boy, do we got some movement for you this week. So, jumping right into it, the Cardinals and the Bills do stay as the number 1 and 2 teams, as well as Tampa staying at number 3. All three teams came out with wins. Tampa got a nice easy blowout win against Miami. The Bills had a statement win against Kansas City. And the Cardinals escaped the 49ers for a win. Cardinals and Bills are very evidently the number 1 and 2 teams in the league right now. Best in their respective divisions at the moment. Rams move up a bit and Chargers move up a bit. Both of those teams coming out of wins. This past weekend, LA on the rise. Baltimore moves down as a result of very nearly losing to the Colts on Monday Night Football. Packers move down more as just because of movement of the LA teams, but more so because they almost lost in overtime to the Bengals. The Packers are down a bunch of players, but still, the Bengals are not there yet, and the Packers, I feel like, played a little bit down to their competition. Two new teams come on up, the Cowboys and the Saints. The Saints have been inconsistent like crazy, but they're still pulling out wins, and they are better than a couple other teams that are behind them. Saints are just blowing out in odd weeks and getting their butts kicked in even weeks, so we'll see how that continues. Cowboys, they're 4-1 on the season. They haven't played a crazy tough schedule though, so we'll see how that changes over the coming weeks. They beat the Giants last week, not that crazy of a win. And then at number 10, the Kansas City Chiefs, 2-3. Yes, I know they have a losing record and that they're still in the top 10, but there's not really very many teams that I can move up ahead of them at the moment. So this is what we're looking at right now. And then the teams that were there last week that dropped were the Seahawks. Russell Wilson's out for 6 to 8 weeks. They're not going to be back up here for a bit. And the 49ers after losing to the Cardinals. So getting into game picks for this week, I went 10-6 last week. Not terrible, but could still do better. These are my picks for this week. Tonight on Thursday Night Football, I got the Buccaneers defeating the Eagles. And then moving over to the AFC side, got the Dolphins winning on the road against the Jaguars, ending their 4-game loss slide. Got the Colts beating the Texans at home. Ravens, I have taking over the Chargers. Everybody I've talked with has the Chargers winning. I think the Ravens are going to win this game. Lamar's going to put the team on his back. Whichever team comes out of this, the quarterback is most likely going to end up as the front runner for MVP at the moment. We've got the Raiders and Bills winning on the road against the Broncos and Titans. Bills winning on the road on Monday Night Football. I think that defense is going to be able to shut down Derrick Henry, and it's going to cause the Titans offense to splutter. And then the Raiders, even though John Gruden just resigned, new interim coach, the Broncos are just not a good team, and the Raiders are going to take advantage of that. AFC, NFC matchups, the Chiefs are going to bounce back for a win on the road against Washington after Washington got demolished by the Saints. Then I've got the rest of the interconference matchups taking home wins, with the Lions getting their first win on the year against the Bengals. I've got the Browns beating the Cardinals. That game is going to be close. I've got the Patriots beating the Cowgirls. And I've got the Steelers beating the Seahawks. Then the rest of the NFC matchups, I've got the Packers winning on the road against the Bears, Rams on the road against the Giants, and kind of a little bit of an upset, but I've got the Vikings with a win over the Panthers. Last week's strategy was correct. I didn't pick the right one. So last week there were still 8 road teams that won. I just didn't happen to pick the right ones. This week hoping that I picked the better ones. Some toss-ups were Chargers, Ravens. That can go either way. Raiders, Broncos might go either way. The Bengals, Lions. Any of the interconference ones other than the Chiefs, that can go either way. Could easily see those being flipped. But the NFC, that's all almost powerhouses over there taking on lower class teams. So hopefully we can start to get some better records coming out here. Last week, the Patriots had a very close win over the Texans. They played down to their opponent so horribly. That game should not have been close, and it was. They were down like 17-9 at one point. It did not look good. Or I think it was even more. Did not look good. Mac Jones, Patriots come back and win the game. I believe the final score was 25-22 or 23-20, somewhere around that. But yeah, it was not a good showing for the Patriots, and they're definitely going to have to step it up, especially against a Cowboys team this week coming in with a red-hot offense and a defense that looks much better than it did last year. Keys to the Patriots' victory against the Cowboys on Sunday. Don't give up the big plays. They've got Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin. Don't give up the big play. They have a ton of weapons. Play smart and don't get too confused in what you're trying to do. They're gonna try and go for the big plays, and the key is just gonna have to be to stop it. Number 2, it's okay to abandon the run game. This is gonna be one of those games where if the defense can't stop Dallas, then the Pats are not gonna be able to run the ball. Throw it. They've talked about how they want to take away less throws from Mac, but this is not the week to do it. If the Cowboys start scoring quickly, they're going to have to throw and try and keep up. And the third thing is going to be discipline. Dallas will make its mistakes, and they do it all the time. The key is to limit their own mistakes. The fumbles by the running backs, gotta stop. Drops by receivers. That offense just needs to gel. And then defensively, they just got to make smarter play calls. Enough of the 8-yard slant play on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. Almost every team has ran it this year. Gerard Mayo, the Patriots linebackers coach, even addressed that to the media this past week. Everybody's seeing it. The coaches are seeing it. Stop it better. What they're doing is clearly not working, and I would not be surprised if the Cowboys have definitely noticed that and they hit the play themselves this week. Teams have not shied away from not punting the ball against the Patriots because they know they can get the extra couple yards. Stop that from happening, and that they'll actually have a chance this week. With that, I do think the Patriots will come out with a win in this game. I've got the final score being 27-24 Patriots. I think the defense has always done fine against the Cowboys, especially over the last couple of years. They've limited Dak just fine. They've limited Zeke just fine. So it's limiting the big plays. If you can get the stops, let them make their own mistakes, and capitalize on that. Better red zone offense is needed for the Patriots, and they'll be able to come away with a win on Sunday. And it's something that they're going to need. Sitting at 2-3 right now, if they lose, it does not look good going forward for a possible playoff push. The back end of the AFC is very weak. The AFC is very top-heavy this year. You've got the Bills, you've got the Chargers, you've got the Ravens. That back end, on the other hand, it's not looking great. That 7th wild card spot is going to be open. The Chiefs are going to make the playoffs despite their woes right now. The Chargers will make it as a wild card. The Ravens, Browns will both make it, meaning there's one more wild card spot. And the Patriots are going to be fighting with Cincinnati, Vegas, Denver, and Indianapolis. They're going to be fighting with those teams for that last spot. So they need these wins early on against dominant opponents, good opponents, to help them out with that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Let's go, Pats.